So, like I imagine many of you, I have been completely hyped by the new Captain America Civil War trailer. I've been watching it like at least once a day since it came out. I watched it like 30 times on the day it did come out. And what really hyped me up is that one shot at the end, you know, the one with SpiderMan, who just making his debut. Anyway, um, oh, that shot is so cool. But focusing, the more I watch the trailer, the more it strikes me how kind of dense this image is thematically, and how much it can really spell out the rest of what Civil War is and what it's about. And to explain what I mean, I'm going to explain kind of as far as I know what Civil War is about, why Tony and Steve are fighting each other. And the trailer spells it out pretty well, I think. Tony wants the Avengers and all, it seems, superheroes to work with some sort of government oversight, while Steve wants heroes to work with their own agency, that they should work under their own accord to protect people when they see fit. And the characters' philosophies behind this have been well established in the previous Marvel movies. So taking a look at Tony's character arc, Tony, in many of his movies, has been the cause of all of his problems. Ironmonger used his suit design. He caused Whiplash in a way, who also stole his suit design. He bullied the guy Pierce's Mandarin when he was younger, and he was a jerk to him. He ends up building Ultron in Age of Ultron. And so whenever Tony uses his intellect without some sort of check on it, whenever he acts on his own, it ends up biting him in the ass and leads to people getting hurt. So his arc throughout his movies seems to be realizing that he can't work alone, that he needs other people to kind of rein him in and to make sure that he is doing the best work he can. And what's interesting is that Tony comes from a position of power, and so does many of his team. Tony was born incredibly wealthy. Black Panther is a king. Black Widow was born a super soldier. She was born and kind of at the age of like 9 or whatever, knew how to kill a man. And Vision is the embodiment of an Infinity Stone. These are all people who were born into incredible power and in their own way have to learn to work with others, that they can't do everything by themselves. And so Tony believes that in order to prevent disaster, in order to do the most good, there must be limitations. These people who have all of this power must be must have limitations put on them, must work with other people. And this runs totally counter to Steve's character arc throughout his movies, because Steve starts as a soldier and he volunteers and he's pretty powerless. He's an idealist. He wants to work with the military in order to stop a bigger power than him. And then he ends up getting superpowers. And he still works with his government. He still works in a team as a soldier. But he now has all this power and he can do all this great stuff. Then in Winter Soldier, he gets betrayed by his government. He gets betrayed by S.H.I.E.L.D., betrayed by his friends, and he realizes that he has to rely on a much smaller group of people, pretty much himself, Black Widow, and then Falcon, to be the arbiters of good and to protect everybody and everything in Washington and the world. That he learns that his ability to do good stems from his own personal choice to make sure that he is doing the best he can. And if you look at Steve's team in Civil War, it reflects that. Steve volunteered for the army, as I said, and Falcon and Winter Soldier are both veterans who got these powers. Winter Soldier got his arm, and Falcon got the jetpack. They got the ability to do better as a single person than they were able to do before. Hawkeye and Ant-Man were criminals, are reformed criminals. I'm not sure if they keep the Hawkeye backstory completely straight from the comics, but he was a reformed criminal. Ant-Man was a reformed criminal in his movie. And these are people who have chosen to do good on their own. And so Steve's philosophy in Civil War seems to be that it's the personal responsibility of those in power to choose to use it for good. and hopefully that sounds familiar to you, which is where we come back to Spider-Man. Because Steve's philosophy about personal responsibility and choosing to do good is pretty much Spider-Man's whole shtick, that with great power must also come great responsibility. So why does it appear from the trailer that Spider-Man is on Tony's team? Well, because Spider-Man is still young and he's still learning, and even though he starts off a lot more like Steve in that he had no power and was suddenly given great power, his origin story involves the irresponsible use of that power that endangers the lives of the people he cares about. He gets Uncle Ben killed, or at least he blames himself for Uncle Ben's death. And I think we're going to see a parallel between Uncle Ben's death and the shot of Tony holding Rhodey, and that these are both people who, through misuse or irresponsible use of their powers, get the people around him hurt. But I believe that over the course of the movie, we'll see Spider-Man really learn the meaning of with great power must come great responsibility, in that he'll start to believe, or he'll start to realize, that Iron Man's team is trying to absolve themselves of the responsibility to do good by making the government decide how to use their powers, while Captain America's team is all about them being kind of moral arbiters and knowing how to use their powers for good on their own and not having to be restricted in that. Now, also in terms of the trailer, and this is, I think, really kind of stretching the argument out a bit, the Spider-Man shot comes right after the Captain America shot of him saying, "I can do this all day," while fighting Iron Man. And of course, "I can do this all day" is a callback to a scene from the first Captain America movie when he is standing up to a bully, again, someone more powerful than him. And it also kind of ties them back together with both of them being kind of scrawny nerds who get superpowers and then decide to fight for the common good. So yeah, that's my little theory. Kind of a lot of just kind of fan theorying and loose arguments, I admit, but I thought it was a pretty cool exercise. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed. And if you feel like it, please subscribe, like the video, comment, whatever. You know the shtick. So thank you for watching.